This member just closed one of the biggest sales systems projects that I've ever seen. $20,000 deal locked in. In today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how I'm going to help him deliver this project step by step. Now, I'm recording this video for a couple reasons. Reason one, because I've got this thing called First Client Reward, where I personally help members with their first client delivery. And two, that way you guys can see how a seven-figure agency owner delivers results, so you can literally just copy the strategy and get up and running yourselves. So let's print some money. Secured the $20,000 sales system. This one was another referral for a cold email prospecting system, aka lead generation solution. 4 months contract, paid $10K down for the first 2 months and then $5K every month thereafter with a minimum 4 months. That's insane. Think about it. Like, that's $20K. $20K for a sales system. Like, I literally can't think of a business model or a solution that gets you paid $20K and $10K upfront with no business experience. Most people would kill for $20K a month. And we got this fella right here that just closed a contract, paid $10K down for a $20K sales system, right? That's insane, right? It just gets to show you guys that businesses are willing to pay for these solutions, because when you come in, you say, hey, I can literally build a system, or we have the ability to automate your entire lead generation process using AI and automation. They immediately just smile and they say, yeah, take my money, because you're literally helping them with distribution. And if you're wondering what distribution is, it's basically like a fancy word of getting clients, okay? And distribution is basically the biggest fire that any business or company on planet Earth has to deal with. Obviously, when you build a company, there's multiple fires you have to deal with, but the most important fire is essentially distribution. And if you really want to learn a lot about this, highly recommend you guys read this book. It's called Blitzscaling. From the founder of LinkedIn, which is the lightning fast to building a profitable startup. And basically, Reid Hoffman, which is the writer, and also the founder of LinkedIn, in this book, it talks about how distribution, which is essentially getting clients, is the most important thing before even shipping the products or shipping the startup or shipping whatever service you are trying to provide to the market. My aim is to fulfill by cold emailing companies in the manufacturing sectors, as they're likely to have their businesses built on loans. Yes, that's correct. Does anyone have any insights on smart ways of using AI or a better way of fulfilling for this client? Yes, I sure do. Saad, tag in Saad, can I use this client to claim your helpful fulfillment? Of course, my friend. This is the real value of First Client Reward, because members can actually see me do the work live. And it's also beneficial for you guys, so you can actually like squeeze as much value and get up and running yourself. Okay. So let's explain what the client does, because this is jargon, right? Like, obviously, specialized in business debt resolution, corporate, like nobody talks like this. But I'm going to explain it to you guys very, very simple. A child could understand. So what his clients helps with, so simple. So his clients essentially just helps business owners who are in money trouble. So for example, if a factory took big loans and now can't pay them back, instead of going bankrupt or getting sued, his client steps in and says, hey, don't panic. We'll talk to the banks for you, help fix your money problems, and keep your business running, right? Now, he mentioned something which is cold emailing companies in the manufacturing space. Now, this is very, very smart. And let me explain why. Now, it is a smart move because factories, if you guys don't know, borrow a lot of money. They need big machines, buildings, workers, and that costs a lot of money. That's a hefty amount, right? So they take loans from the banks. Now, if sales drop, obviously they panic. Again, going back to the same principle, they need clients. Like, sales is the most important thing. If things slow down, well, they can't pay the loans, obviously. That's when they really need help. So these businesses aren't huge. The owner or boss usually sees the emails. And by the way, when I say aren't huge, they're still making like millions and millions of dollars. Because when you talk about the manufacturing space right here, like, there's levels to this game, right? If they're making millions of dollars, they're still small players. So you can just say, hey, Sal, a lot of factories are having money problems. Is that happening to you too, right? Now, I'm going to show you guys step by step how to deliver this project using some of the hidden methods that I use inside my plus 151K a month agency. Now, how to deliver this project, Saad? Well, we want factories that obviously make good money, not too small, not too giant, just right. So companies making from 1 to 20 million all the way to 50 million a year have some workers, obviously, big enough to feel pressure, small enough to reach the boss. So 10 to 200 employees. And keep in mind, when they are around like 200 employees, they're making millions of dollars. And also, they are in the US or Canada. And the reason why is because that's where businesses take more loans, obviously, in the US, Canada, etc. And debt problems show up fast. And they also have owners or bosses we can reach. I'm going to show you guys how to reach these bosses. And it's going to be owners, CEOs, presidents. Okay. So let's just go ahead and tackle this step by step. So we're going to use something called the myoSignal technique. So myoSignal is basically like a name that I gave to this technique because my company is myoProcess. So we're going to use this technique. So we're going to use two things: pain-based targeting and public databases. So Saad, what is pain-based targeting? Well, it's essentially how I was able to scale my agency. So we're not just guessing who to reach out. We look for people who are likely feeling the stress or the pain and struggling right now. Now, how do we do that, Saad? How do we do that? Well, we look for signs of pain, like clues businesses might be in trouble, right? For example, layoffs. If they're letting people go, well, probably low on money. If there's articles about lawsuits, losses, factory issues, that means that's a red flag. Maybe if they stopped hiring, there's no job posts, they might be freezing spending. And the biggest of all, in our case, is basically loan or debt records. So we can check public databases to see if they have big loans. Now enter the public databases technique, government data. Now, most people sleep on this because they simply don't know this yet. But since you are watching this, you will know it, right? If you learn this technique, you will be digging thousands of pre-qualified pain-rich leads for free while everyone else is just scraping Apollo, LinkedIn, all these like databases, other like lead sourcing databases. So the public databases or industry databases techniques is you essentially go beyond what most people do, which is finding leads on LinkedIn, Apollo, Clay, etc., all these platforms. You can find high intent leads that are currently feeling the pain right now just using public databases that are available online, which is exactly what we're gonna do. Okay, now what do we say? So we're using the connector angle, which is basically email one soft opener pain signal reference. We're gonna say, hey, first name, right? Noticed a few manufacturers in state/region have been dealing with cash flow stuff lately. Slowed POs, big debt loads, etc. Curious if that's been happening on your end too. I can connect you with a group that helps shops in that spot avoid the heavy stuff such as lawsuits, asset loss, etc. Happy to share a few examples. If useful, let me know either way. So this is kind of like the strategy that we're going to be going for, okay? Now, let me walk you guys through the public databases or the government database that we're going to be using. So it's called USA Spending. Interesting, right? So literally, this is like a gold mine for this client. And you guys can see, like, this is like a company that makes a ton of money. Like, his clients makes a ton of money, but they don't really know about automated lead gen. They don't know how to like do this at scale. So check this out, usaspending.gov. So track government spending over time. Download government spending over time. So USS Spending is the official open data source of federal spending information, including information about federal awards such as contract grants and boom, loans. We found it. So now we're just gonna click on start searching awards. And we get these beautiful filters, just like Apollo, like LinkedIn, etc. And you can literally play around with this, right? There's like, I believe there's like 100 million company here. So most people are sleeping on this. So I'm just going to go to a keyword and I'm just going to type in loan. So you can totally nerd out about this. So you can go to fiscal years. So you can get this from 2008 all the way to 2025. So let's just go a little bit recent, 2025. And then award type. So we have contracts, grants. So we want loans. All right, so let's check this. So direct loans guaranteed. So the best way is just go to direct loans. Because guarantee is basically guaranteed they're going to pay back the loan, but we want direct loans with no guarantees. It's like the pain. So let's submit and see how many leads we can get. So gathering the data. So we got 62,402 companies. Look at this. So original subsidy cost, face value of loan. So this is how much this is the loan they got, like 950 million. Insane. A word type. This is the region, which is amazing because we're going to use it in our copy here, state region. And then, let's see, primary place of performance. We can use the we can use this. Yeah, we can use the primary place of performance instead of recipient location. This is like the PO box. Okay. Department of Agriculture, issue date. So how do we download this? Well, we simply click on download. That's it, right? So collect and combines all transaction into high-level summaries. Let's just go to transaction, yeah. Everything. So there we go. It's a zip file, so we can essentially just download it. So we don't have to deal with scraping. We don't have to deal with any third-party scraping tool, etc. So use your custom link to check back and grab it. So your download file is still in the works. So we're just going to wait a little bit until we have our file. All right, so that took a fair bit of time because think about it, it's like 51,000 leads. So we get the prime award, recipient name, we get every single thing here, as you guys can see. So let's just make this bold. And then let's just use geese as our font. And there we go. We have all of these companies. So there we go. We get the amount of money, etc. So this is basically like gold mine if you think about it. And our member just got access to plus 50,000 company. So you know what that means. The ability for him to deliver is off the charts because there's so many leads, right? So that's already like hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? If you really think about it, because if he has access to all of this, obviously he can deliver because the TAM or the leads are just there, you know? So now let's just name this first client reward leads. Okay, sweet. So now we have these companies. Well, what do? Well, we need to find the exact founder of that company. Now we're going to build a simple sales system in make.com that's going to allow us to do this. I'm going to show you guys how to do it step by step. And we're also going to find the emails. Okay, so let's just go to make. It's going to be very, very easy. So even if you don't know make.com, you're just going to follow along and you'll be able to do everything. So I'm just going to go to Google Sheets and then I'm going to look for search rows. And then I'm going to go to spreadsheet ID, and the spreadsheet ID is basically the name of the sheet. So this is the one. The sheet name is going to be sheet 1 because obviously it's sheet 1 in here. And then we're going to go to limit, put 1, and then let's just save this. Now, if I run once, I'm going to get one record, which is prime award, recipient name, all of this gold mine of data. So I'm just going to name this get gold mine. Okay. So what do I do now? Well, I need the way to find the actual owner of this company. So let's do this manually, and then we're going to find a way to do this automatically. So we'll just copy this and then see. So this company is called Redwood Materials. Yeah, that's huge companies. Yeah, think about it. Like these companies, they make a ton of money. And by the way, these all rely on referrals. I can tell they're making millions of dollars just by this. Like this is technology. Like these are big boy industries, you know? 170 billion. Okay. 170 billion. So let's type in founder. Okay, so we found the guy. GB Strobel, the co-founder and former chief technology officer, CTO of Tesla. So he is the CTO of Tesla. So these are huge companies that took loans, exactly our ICP, right? So how do we automate this thing? How do we do this at scale? Well, we need an endpoint that's going to allow us to Google search this company plus founder. Well, how do we do this? Well, we're just going to go to a platform called Rapid API, and then we're going to use an endpoint called search, Google search. Google search. I'm going to leave this in the resources. So it's called Google search. So this API, thank you, Rise. Rise is basically like a productivity coach, like an app that allows me to track my time, etc. So this is Google Search API. So real data, Google Search API for authentic SRP data. So this is fancy and a nerdy way to say it, but essentially what they allow you to do is basically the same thing that we've done. manually. So we put in the company name plus founder. You can use an endpoint that does the exact same thing. I'm going to show you. So if you go to Open Playground, they give you like an example. So you are querying Nike. So if I type in Nike, I did the same thing just manually, but if I use this endpoint, I'm gonna do the same thing. So I'm just gonna copy this thing, and then I'm gonna call it using an HTTP request. Make a request. So this is the URL to get Nike, but we don't want Nike, obviously. So what can we do? Well, I'm just gonna go to my playbook, which is essentially have like multiple URLs that I use. So we have search API. So this is for Clinic Manager Founder. I believe this is the one. Rapid API 47 or 74. No, 116. So we can just copy this, paste this here, and then we can put the name here, and then let's check. If we get an error, we're just going to troubleshoot this using Claude or like ChatGPT so we can edit the URL for us. All right, so let's just close this, and then let's go back to the endpoint. So this is the header. Okay, so the query parameters. So header, copy this, and let me check if you guys can see. Yeah, you guys can see, but I'm just going to put myself here so you don't have the friction of like changing your head position. So Rapid API hosts, copy this and paste this in the value. Remove this extra space. And then we're going to add another header, which is the key. Now, when you sign up to a Rapid API, they're going to give you this key. So everyone has its own key. Paste this here, and then let's make sure we parse the response. Now, let's see what we're going to get. We're going to get an error? Oh, we're not going to get an error, which is awesome. Okay, sweet. So we found it. So JB, this is the guy. JB Carson. Is it the guy? Oh, yeah. CEO at Redwood Materials. Awesome. Found it. Let's go. All right. So now let's just name this Google Founder API. Okay. Now we need to structure this data because it's all cluttered. Okay. Let's close all these tabs so you guys don't get overwhelmed. So we're just going to use AI for this. So I'm just going to use Claude, create a prompt. And let me double check my account here. Okay, so I'm just going to use 3.7 nets, and then I'm just going to use 750 tokens. That's all. Add messages, user, content is going to be text. So I have a prompt for this, obviously, because I have a prompt for everything. I believe it's in Playbook or maybe 7-figure prompts. These are all prompts that I share with people in my community. It's basically exactly what I use when I'm building these sort of systems. So clean names. This is the one. Okay. So retrieve this person's first name. Okay. LinkedIn URL. So we're going to get and their description. Sweet. And then data, we're just going to have to update it so we don't get any problems. I'm just going to put title here. And then let's see. Oh, found it. Okay, great. Awesome. So now we can just parse the JSON. Parse JSON. So let's see. Run anyway. Found it. Awesome. So, okay, now we found the founder. Well, what do we do now? Let's name this first structure full name. Well, since we have the full name, okay, and we have the company name, we can easily find the email. Okay, so how do we find the email? Well, we need to use an email enrichment platform to find the email, okay? Now, there's multiple platforms. There's an email finder, really good platform. We also have Prospeo, I believe. Prospeo. Yeah, find business emails for outreach. We also have Hunter.io. These are all platforms that you can use, okay? And we can also use my own email enrichment platform, which is this one right here. So this is a platform that I built specifically for people in the community. So essentially they can just use it instead of paying, like if you go to any email finder, you can pay like $400 a month. Just like think about it, like monthly is 5K. Now, obviously, you're not going to use 5K. 10K is like $200. So we give people 10K just free, and we have the ability to raise this up to all the way to like 100K tokens per month, which is insane. So compare this, like 10K credits for $200. Now they can get it for free instead of like paying $200, right? So we have multiple tools. For example, verify email. We can verify single email. We can verify multiple emails. We can even bulk upload, which is insane, right? We can also go to create email, and you can basically find emails here. They also get basically the history, like how many emails they verified, etc. They have the ability to go to account settings, essentially just edit whatever they want, etc. But I'm not going to use it today because you guys don't have access to this, obviously. So I'm just going to use an email finder and show you a similar way. So I'm just going to go to app, and this is an email finder. So we're just going to go to make, and we also have an email finder in make, which is a module. So we can type in an email finder, search for a person's email, and then we're going to click on add. And this is basically where you plug your API key, which is going to be here, API. So I can just copy it. By the way, do not want to expose your API key just like I'm doing, but I'm just recording a video because if people can see your API key, they can just use it, and they can also charge you, which is not nice, right? So I can just paste it here and save. Now I have the ability to search by company name or domain. I'll just use company name, and then I'm just going to put the name of the company, which is this one. The full name is the full name, and save. And then I can just run once and check. And then let's see if any email finder is going to find the email. Oh, it didn't actually. So it couldn't find it. That's fine. Let's run this at, for example, 3. Let's see, 3. Okay. Okay, we found the second one, which is this guy. Okay, sweet. Let's see if we found the third one. Okay, we found it. Awesome. So this is going to be find email. Okay, so we have the email, we have the full name. Well, now what do? Well, now we can just basically build our dream email that we're going to use right here. So let's just copy this entire thing and then go back. And then we need a set variable. So set variable. This is going to be dream email. And then we're going to say, hey, result. So split the result based off a space. I'm going to explain this formula. And then get 1. So what we're doing here is we're splitting GIF, not literally, based off a little space. See this little space here? Based off a space, and then getting 1. This is 1. This is so 0, 1, 2. There we go. And then we're gonna paste this here. So we have the primary place of performance. Okay, so we have the state and region. So we can just plug it here. Okay. And then we can copy this. Let's just copy the entire thing as text. And then we paste it here. And then we need to add a filter only if email exists. And then let's see. There we go. Hey Key, noticed a few manufacturing in Warren County OH have been dealing with cash flow stuff lately. Slow POs. Okay, sweet. Everything is great. Awesome. So this is really good. So let's just name this dream email. Okay, final step, we have everything. We need to plug this into a cold email software is going to allow us to automate this and then reach out to them. So we need to go to Instantly. I'm just going to use Instantly because this is the best cold email software you can use. So create lead. This is the one. Now I'm going to go to instantly.ai and then I'm just going to log in and then I'm going to show you guys how to authenticate. So I can just go to, this is not the right account. So I'm just going to go to another account, log in. I'm going to create a campaign and then I'm going to name it first client reward 20. Oh, thank you instantly. 20K deal. Okay. I'm going to go to settings and then I'm going to show you guys how to authenticate. So you go to integration, API keys, and I believe it's version 1. Copy, go back, paste it here. So add API key. You can name this whatever you want, by the way. Let's just keep it instantly API v2. V2. Yeah, so v2. Okay. So we need to create a new API key. Just name this API. Scopes, make sure it's all. Create. Copy. Again, this is your API key. So look, like they keep changing it. So I'm just going to paste this here and then save. Okay. So campaign ID, I'm going to get it here. This is the one. The email is the email found. The personalization is the entire copy. And then first name, again, we need to do the same thing. So let's just copy this formula, paste it here. So this is the first name. Now last name, since 1 is first name, now 2 is last name. Company name is the recipient name. So let's just run once and see. There we go, added. So let's just check our campaign. Okay, sweet. I can add personalization here. And there we go. Oh, we forgot one thing. There's an extra space. Oh yeah. Since we copied it from Excalibur. Now it's better. Okay, now let's just run this, for example, at 20. So these are all names that we can find. See? Let's read through this. Hey Betsy, noticed a few manufacturers in Chattanooga, TN have been dealing with cash flow stuff lately. Awesome. Okay. Now, in terms of the subject line, what we can say, we can just type in first name. That's it. And I'm going to add sent from my iPhone. And I'm going to save this. So there we go, guys. That's how essentially you use the connector copy. And this is how you use the pane-based targeting along with public databases. So now you understand kind of like the strategy whenever I'm building these sort of systems. As you can see, we use the Google Search API. We found the founder, and then we tried to find the email using like an email enrichment platform. But the biggest takeaway is you can literally find leads using these gold mines that I shared with you, which is public databases. So now you understand how to fulfill for these similar clients. As you can see, this is pretty much high tickets. It's like 20K deal. The only thing you have to do right now is basically just get out there, get yourself a client, and essentially just take action. Okay. So I'll talk to you soon. Peace.